some of your work involves navigating the elimination of cookies. Why are cookies so problematic for consumers? And how have you seen a shift in thinking among marketers when it comes to using cookies?
It's a kind of an accident that we have cookies to begin with, to be perfectly honest. The history of it was just almost an accident. But then we started appending all these tags and it started being used for marketing reasons. We started leveraging the cookie to do so much more than it was originally set up to do. But that being said, I don't know, bluntly, this is kind of controversial, but I don't know that a cookie per se, there's anything wrong in it. It's how you're using that data. Again, depending on the consumer, some consumers, just how they're marketed to should be a consumer choice, and which of their own data they're giving up to other marketers should be their own choice. Because largely, consumers didn't really know that they were sharing this data with this broad array of corporations until relatively recently, when the targeting became much, much, much more pronounced and almost aggressive in some instances. So decreasing that is really critical, and ensuring our clients have the ability to cap how many times any individual consumer can see a message, and that they're interacting with the brand. You're pushing them towards brand safe sites, the clients towards brand safe sites, and that you're engaging with clients in a way that respects them as consumers, I think is really important. I'm not going to pile on to the poor cookie here. It's not necessarily the cookie's fault. It's, again, going back to that simplicity of what are you trying to accomplish as a marketer, and ensuring that your marketing strategy ladders up to that in a way that respects the consumer. If everybody followed those rules, we wouldn't be having this conversation about cookies. And guess what? All of the solutions that are coming up to replace the cookie, you're still going to have those conversations. And that's why it's really important for me to differentiate between, it's not really the cookie that's evil per se. Sorry, I had quotation marks around that evil, because we have to ensure as marketers that we're doing our best to respect our consumers.
I know, just like many other consumers, it seems like in the past couple years at least, where there's just been the spotlight on cookies, right? There's been this kind of almost smear campaign, if you will, like cookies are horrible, they're going away, Google stepping in, Facebook, all the things, right? And now all of a sudden on my phone, everywhere I visit a website, it says, ask the app not to track you, which I always hit no. Now I always hit no, because I've been conditioned to believe, like, unless I know what I'm voting for, I'm just going to say no. And so I'm curious about how you're navigating this with larger brands and just insights, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this now. But now if you're giving me an option and you're not giving me any of this monetization, you're basically saying, hey, can we monetize your data? Can we improve your experience? I'm saying no, unless that experience gets a little better and more clear. What are you noticing, kind of broadly speaking, in that? I'm sure there's probably conversations around that, but I know that now it's almost, I'm conditioned to hit no every time. And I'm a marketer, right? And I love marketing. I love seeing different things, but it's like, there's a narrative that gets to change when it comes to cookies. And I think you're kind of getting to that. And like, let's not put them in the all bad category, but I would love just your insights on that anecdotally.
I think you're really asking about the future of personalization, like largely, like you're asking about what's the future there if all consumers are opting out. There's a couple of different things, right? You're saying no to everything, but have you ever exchanged your email address or a phone number for a discount? Have you ever voluntarily given your information, like when you're checking out for an online experience, have you ever had them save your username and passwords so that future checkouts can be more seamless? See, you're nodding yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, but like that's really important, because those are all positive experiences. I know for me, every time I have to reorder diapers or reorder like all the different things that I'm doing on a daily level, it is so easy for me when a retailer makes it easier for me. They save my order. I'm logging in and I can just repeat order on a Friday night for the whatever pizza personalizations I want. There's buckets there that are incredibly useful where I am sharing personal information. I think you're nodding because I think this is universal, right? There's portions there that add to that. And so I, as a consumer, also want other recommendations that are similar to that, because you don't want to be missing out. I had a second kid recently, and so what's changed for parenting? What's changed for the product? I am opted in for a lot of that information, and it comes pretty much almost customized for who I am as a consumer, which I do appreciate as a consumer. So you're right to some degree. There are people opting out and there are people opting in. I opt out of a lot as well, but I opt in for things that make my life easier and better. So there's one aspect of it that there are very few consumers who are not opting in at all for anything. And so you have to take that into consideration, A. But then the B is that there's a trade-off. And this larger landscape is, I think the pendulum has kind of swung back and forth now, where pre everything being on the internet, you had to subscribe to every newspaper. In order to access the news, you had to pay for it. You had to pay for all different forms of information across the board. And then we got used to being able to access all of these news sites for free and all of the different information on the internet for free. And the exchange model there was that we were giving them information about ourselves for free. So there was an exchange both ways. We were getting content. I'm talking as a consumer now. We were getting content, but we were giving up portions of our information. And so moving forward, that trade-off is going to be a little bit more balanced now. Likely, and I'm sure you have seen this too, you get to paywalls. And so you either have to pay for the content again, but that requires sharing some personal information, or you have to consent to share your information, your cookies right now, but share information to access that information for free. So you can sometimes pay for it and check the box then that says, don't share my information. That's fine. But there's just different trade-offs. And I think we have to take a step back to say, hey, this entire ecosystem, it costs money to put out this content on a consistent basis. And what's the trade-off going to be? What am I as a consumer willing to accept for that trade-off?
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more great marketing interviews with today's top industry leaders. And thank you to our partners at Salesforce. Salesforce brings marketing and engagement together. Head over to salesforce.com/marketing.